Hi, this is Kelly Bailey, and I'm just going to quickly describe my digital portfolio about the book Rain Rain to you. So I shared in my post, I have shared this folder with you where you can click on it. You don't need access, it's just a view only access. And I just wanted to show you, I made two versions. I made a digital student copy here, and then I made a printable copy because I just kept thinking about it. I couldn't decide if I wanted it to be a printed out portfolio or if I wanted it digitally. I decided to go ahead and complete a digital one because of the current times. And I felt like it was more applicable to here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click through the completed one and the student digital copy. So this is not completed one. So I'm going to go through and click through my completed one, my example, my completed project, and the student digital copy to show you how it would look for a student versus how my finished one looks. So I wanted the students to insert a picture here. So I picked, again, the title of the portfolio is Modern Problems Require Modern Solutions, because in the book Rain Rain, the main character Rose faces lots of different problems, and I wanted my students to not only be able to tell me how Rose solved her problems, but put themselves in Rose's shoes and think about how they might also solve that similar problem. So this is the picture I chose, but then students would get to, oh, I'm in the wrong thing. Students would get to insert their own picture here. And then they would, so again, if this is for the digital copy, and then if I have also a student non-digital copy where it doesn't say this, and you would have students draw in their own picture. Okay, so the first page here, so I have some quick directions here. The main character, Rose, faces many problems throughout the book. She always has to come up with her own solutions. She only has a landline phone, television, and radio on her house on Hud Road. Imagine you're faced with the same problems Rose is faced with, except you have the technology that you have at school and at home. Your task is to look at what Rose does to solve each problem and write your own list of steps using modern technology to solve the problem. Also keep track of the main characters and show how they change throughout the book. Okay, so the first page here is that character part. So I have the three main characters, Rose, she's our very, very main character, and then her father, Wesley Howard, and her uncle, Weldon. So after reading each part, they will come back and they will fill in just that part section. So this is my completed version. Rose is honest. We see this when she gets upset when the bus driver doesn't use the turning signal. Wesley Howard, the father, his characteristic is angry, yells at Rose about the teacher reports. Her uncle is compassionate, even though she got in trouble with the bus driver, got kicked off the bus. He wants to drive her to school every day. And again, I wanted to give you all a copy of the not completed one if you wanted to use it, so you have a version of it not completed also. So then the students would just type in their answers here. Okay, and then moving on to the second part, the part about a hurricane. So again, this is now they've read the whole first section and they've completed just that first box of the first page. And now students would move on to this one. Okay, so now Rose and her father have to get ready for a hurricane. So you have to go back in the book and find out what Rose did. So now I give you the page numbers where they're talking about getting ready for the hurricane, and they have to retell me how Rose got ready, and then they have to come up with their own version of the solution. I thought it was funny here by pretending the hurricane's name was Rona. But that was interesting. Definitely feel free to come in and read my solution and her solution. Okay, so in the portfolio, I wanted to make sure I used some art and technology also to help engage students. So then I used the Google Drawings I have right here, draw a diagram or picture of Hud Road as Rose describes it. So this is a Google drawing that I created. So students can easily do that by going File. I'm sure most of you know how to do this, New, Drawing, and then they have to create the drawing and then insert it back into the portfolio. And I would definitely walk kids through how to do that more thoroughly. Okay, and then after you make the Hud Road diagram based on Rose's description on these pages, then you get to make a diagram of your own road. I really tried to keep relating it back to students getting to use their own perspectives and their own lives in this portfolio to really learn about their students as well as make sure that they're understanding the novel. So there's my rose diagram, and then this is me. I live on Maplewood Avenue. And I drew the other roads there. I felt that was an easier way to draw the diagram. Okay, the third part, the next part, is it's titled in the book. Rose has to look for a lost dog. Rain gets lost because her dad lets Rain out without the collar during the hurricane. So this is Rose's solution about how to try to find the dog, Rain. And then I came up with my own list here. And then I kept thinking about how to get them to use Google Maps or Google Earth. So I actually went in here and I just went on Google Earth and I created a project. I don't know if any of you have ever done this before. I tried to do the circles like Rose does in the book, but that was really difficult. I ended up just deciding that they should just place pins at each of the animal shelters. And I had the starting point my school. And I would recommend doing that, or they could use their homes if they're comfortable. Some kids aren't comfortable doing that, but I just had my school that I currently work at, and I did little points or little pins where each of the animal shelters are. And then I made this a little different for the print copy because, again, it would be hard for them to draw this or create it in a non-completed thing. So I want to show you in my printable copy, it's a little different. Instead of having them have that cool map, it's just a, here we go. This is what I did. Instead, now again, they're going to search in Google Maps instead of Google Earth, and now they're going to tell me the shelter name, how many miles away it is, and then tell the phone number, because that would be important if you're actually going to call and ask if they have your dog. So I was trying to make it so that they're still trying to solve that same problem, get the information they would need to solve that problem. Okay, going back to my completed copy, scrolling down to the next part, part 4, the hard part. Okay, so they find out, Rose decides that she's going to track down Rain's original owners because Rain has a chip, and her dad originally found Rain, Rain didn't have a collar, so they didn't know how to, they just assumed she was a stray, and they kept Rain. But now you have to pretend you found a lost dog and are trying to find the owners. Again, tell me Rose's solution, which is going to be a little different because she has a name to go by and a town that they're from. So hers is a little different. But then you have to come up with your own solution. And if you found a stray dog and you had no information about the dog, how would you go about trying to find the owners? And then an extension is create a newspaper ad or a poster for a dog. And I did this again in Google Drawings, but you could let the kids do it in Google Slides or any other way that they wanted to. But again, they would have to be able to insert it into here is the goal. So I think Google Drawing is the best option. And actually, I made it so you can make it so this links to their drawing. So I can open up the drawing from here, and you can see that's, I don't know, the Google stuff works really well together, especially for something like this with a digital portfolio. My completed one, sorry. Okay, here we go. I have too many tabs open. All right, part 5, the last part, how to be brave. So Rose, she ends up giving Rain, her dog, back to the original owners, even though she's had Rain for a long time. And again, everyone calls Rose brave for giving back the dog. And I'm kind of ruining the story for those of you who haven't read it. But in the end, Rose's father decides to leave Rose with the uncle because he's struggling to take care of Rose. He loses his job and a lot of other things happen to him. But in the end, Rose calls her father brave for leaving her with the uncle and walking away a little bit. And then again, having kids then reflect. And again, my answers were very COVID-19 inspired. And then the last extension again here was to write another chapter. In your chapter, you must answer the following questions because the book ends at chapter 49. So you get to write chapter 50. This is going to be the last chapter of the book. This is the ending. Everything that they don't tell you where the dad went. Will Rose get another dog? And will Uncle Wesley ever date or get married? Those are questions I had at the end. Definitely could change these if you were going to use this project for yourself. I thought this story is pretty creative. If you want to come and read it, my last chapter, I have Rain. I don't know. They don't tell you if Rain's a boy or girl, but or she's female. She's female. I'm sorry, I forgot what I was saying. She's female. But anyway, I have Rain having puppies, and the Hendersons, the family that Rose gives Rain back to, giving a puppy to Rose, so she gets a dog back. But it's not just any dog; it's Rain's puppy, and so I thought that was pretty creative. But again, so if you want to, I shared the link with you to this folder, so you have all these things. I even made this little timeline here, and this just shows you if I made it like a 20-day unit. So if I was going to do this, when I would have kids working on the portfolio, I would stop, have them work on the portfolio, just little ideas that I would do, going with the portfolio and planning out their reading and what activities to do. And then the last thing in here, this was for my lesson that I chose to write about in my project. And I decided that during this unit, I would want to have homonyms of the day, because there's one of Rose's obsessions is homonyms, so there's constantly homonyms throughout the book. So just picking out one and talking about it. And then going through this was just right before reading the hurricane chapter, talking about hurricanes. And now this is a made-up town where they're supposed to be from in upstate New York, which is not very upstate to me, but whatever, they describe it that way. But this is based on the descriptions in the book. This is where I think Hatford would be. This is actually Greenville. I just put a pin there. Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed this book, and I highly recommend it. And if you ever are going to do it with your students, feel free to use any of the sources I shared with you.